Hey everyone, today we're going to learn a real simple, great Christmas song. It's called Silent Night. Great song to play around the family, play around the fireplace, or anytime during Christmas. So first what we'll do is we'll go through the chords used so that we're familiar and comfortable with using them, and then move into how the song is played, verse by verse, chord by chord, and nice and slow. Okay? First thing you want to do before you start playing guitar is you want to make sure your guitar is in tune. I suggest using a digital tuner so that you can get in perfect tuning. This song is played in standard tuning, and another thing you should do before you start playing is cut your nails nice and short. This will make it easier for you to press down into the strings, and it will also avoid any unnecessary buzzing or muting of the strings. Another thing what we're going to do, so that it's easy for me to explain to you how to play the chords, is we're going to number our fingers. Number 1 finger is going to be our index finger. Number 2 finger is going to be our middle finger. Number 3 finger, ring finger. And number 4 is going to be our pinky. Okay? Now let's move into the first chord used in this song. Alright, so this song is really good for beginners actually because it's played really slow initially. The version that I'm going to teach you only actually uses 4 chords, so you don't have to remember too much. And those 4 chords are going to be a G, or a 3-finger G. I usually play a 4-finger G because I'm more comfortable with that. So we'll do a 3-finger G, a D chord, a C chord, and then there's one E minor chord on it. Okay? Now we'll go into the first chord, G, in detail.
The next chord, G, uses only 3 fingers. You can use whichever 3 fingers is most comfortable for you to complete the chord.
Okay, so the G chord, we're going to use fingers number 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to place finger number 2 onto the 2nd fret of the A string. Finger number 3 is going to go onto the 3rd fret of the big E string. And then finger number 4 is going to come down here onto the 3rd fret of the high E string. And your G should sound like so. Okay? Next chord we're going to learn is the D chord.
The next chord, D, uses only 3 fingers.
Okay, so the D chord we're going to use fingers number 1, 2, and 3. Fingers number 1 is going to go onto the 2nd fret of the G chord, or G string, sorry. Okay? Finger number 2 is going to come down here onto the high E string on the 2nd fret. Then finger number 3 is going to come here in between the two of them onto the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay? Your D should sound like this. Next chord we're going to learn is the C chord.
The next chord is a C chord. The C chord uses 3 fingers.
Okay, the C chord uses the same 3 fingers. Fingers number 1, 2, and 3. Finger number 1 is going to be placed onto the 1st fret of the B string. Finger number 2 is going to come down here onto the 2nd fret of the D string. And finger number 3 is going to be on the 3rd fret of the A string. So our C chord should sound like this. Okay? Next and last chord is the E minor.
The next chord, E minor, is only using 2 fingers. Whichever 2 fingers is most comfortable for you is what you should use.
Okay, so the E minor, the way we're going to play it is going to be with fingers number 1 and 2. So we're going to take finger number 1 and we're going to place it onto the 2nd fret of the A string. Finger number 2 is going to go right below it onto the 2nd fret of the D string. And that's it. Our E minor should sound like this. See, these fingers aren't doing anything. Okay? Okay, so there's only one chord progression. So we'll go through it. And again, this song is nice and slow. So the speed that we're going to learn it is almost the exact speed that we're going to play it because it's played really slowly. So it's going to have our G chord, then to a D, then to a C, and back to the G. Now that takes care of about the first 2 lines. And then he goes to a C, then to a G, and then to a C again, and then to a G, and then a relatively quick switch from the G to the E minor. And then he finishes off the last 2 lines with a D, and a C, and a G. And the very last line is G, D, G. Okay, now regular time it's going to sound like this, and then we're going to go back and we're going to play a little bit slower than regular just so we can learn it, okay? So it'll sound like so. Okay, so it's played pretty slow. Now let's go in and we'll play it nice and slow together. Just a little bit slower, not too much. Here we go. Okay, so let's play this nice and slow together. Now the difficulty in this song is that it's going to be a little bit difficult to remember the changes. But once you memorize them, you should be fine. Okay? So we'll start on the G, D, C, G. Now what I'll do is I'll kind of narrate for you so you know when to switch chords. Because the first G, it's played for a whole line, and then the rest of them, each line switches in between chords. Okay? So we'll start on the count of 3. We'll start on the G chord, sorry. 1, 2, 3. To the D. To the C. To the G. C. G. We're going to go back to the C right here. To the G and the E minor. Okay, now we're going to move on to the D, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. To the C, to the G. Stay in the G, to the D, and back to the G. Okay, let's play that one more time. Because I know it's a little bit strange because there's a lot of changes and there's no consistency in the chord progression, so it's a little bit hard to remember. Okay, so we'll go back again onto the G. Now remember, we hold that for the whole first line where he says silent night, holy night. Just remember that when you're playing that G chord, he stays on that chord for the whole time he says silent night, holy night. Okay? On the count of 3, we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3. To the D, to the C, back to the G, C, to the G, C, to the G, then the E minor here, D, to the C, to the G. Now stay on the G. Now to the D, back to the G again. Alright guys, perfect. Great job learning Silent Night, guys. I'm sure your family and friends will really enjoy it when you guys get to play it together. Now if you enjoyed this video and it helped you, don't forget to check out our other videos and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, guys, and good luck.